Hi guys, welcome along to another video. My name's Ash, you'll know me as Brommer18. Welcome back to our suitable signing series. This is the series where I give you the best players to sign for a position for a particular tactic and system style. Today we are continuing this series where I'm giving you the best central defensive midfielders, the best CDMs to sign for possession tactics. Now for any of you who are new to the channel, new to the series, I've got a few other videos as well and many more coming out, so check out the playlist on my channel where you can get a range of all sorts. We've done the likes of strikers for possession and all sorts. There's loads coming as well. I'm going to give you 3 ratings groups which we'll talk about very shortly, and then we'll talk about the preferential traits that we are looking for, the preferred traits I should say, that we're looking for in these type of players as well. For any of you who haven't done so already, just a quick notice. I know my subscribers are getting bored of me saying it by now, but I will just keep mentioning it. One, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Ring the bell so you get notifications every time I upload, because there's a range of great content coming your way and already out as well. And also check out my Patreon. The link is down below. On there you can get access to a range of fantastic perks, such as my custom tactics package for FIFA, where you get deep dives, rankings and ratings on all the tactics I cover on the channel. Also exclusive tactics videos like recreating Unai Emery's Villarreal, Sean Dyche's Burnley, etc. And on top of that, my scouting package, where I have lots of detailed scout reports on a range of different players based on hundreds of hours of my own analysis. Load of other perks on there as well. Go and check them out. Too many to list. That's it. Right then, on to the video today then. So talking about defensive midfielders. But before we get into that, I want to quickly show you how I'm going to do things. We split them into 3 ratings groups, and amongst those ratings groups I have 4 players on each one. We have 60 to 74, 75 to 82 and 83 to 89. This is just so you can get a player who is tailored to your career mode, such as if you're playing with a lower rated team on career mode, you can then go and sign lower rated players. I don't want to just be suggesting 80 plus rated players as well. So what about the preferred traits that we're looking for in these defensive midfielders? Well, it's important to note, in a possession tactic as a defensive midfielder, you are looking for 2 things. One, you want them to be that deep playmaker, that deep line playmaker. So naturally you're going to want the creative traits, but also it's not just about that. You also want them to obviously to have that defensive nature as well, because they're going to be the ones who are going to break up opposing counter-attacks, support the defenders, screen that back 4 or back 5 as well. So that's very important. So the first thing we are looking for is interceptions. That's going to help out. It's really important because particularly when you're trying to instigate a press, those interceptions means that players will often step out and win the ball even when you're not controlling them, and that can be really helpful. So that's definitely one of the most important traits. We're also looking for passing, naturally, long and short passing. As that playmaker, they're going to be the ones distributing the ball and really trying to dictate the tempo and spring attacks from that deeper position. So that's going to be a really important thing. On top of that, we're looking for composure. Now, what is composure in FIFA? Well, it's how a player will effectively pass or shoot when they are put under pressure. If they have bad composure or a low composure rating, then what you'll find is when they're passing under pressure or shooting under pressure, they're going to be a lot less accurate. So this is what you're looking for naturally in the middle of the pitch as well, where there's a lot of players around, they're going to come under a lot of pressure. You need them to be composed because they're constantly going to be being pressurised by the opposition and being forced to show that composure as well. We're also looking for agility, and this is because when you're going to play into them, they're facing their own goal, you're playing out from the defence and you're playing to them, they're going to need to turn. And particularly again, talking about that pressure, and when the team is instigating a press on you, you're going to need to be able to turn out of that as much as possible. So the likes of maybe like a Sergio Busquets, etc. in FIFA, not really as effective because of that lack of agility and a bit of a heavier kind of player. On top of that, we're looking for a high defensive work rate and then a mid to low attacking work rate. The high defensive work rate is fairly obvious, you know what we need to do there, but the mid to low attacking work rate is because we don't want them storming up the pitch too much. Even when you do set the tactics and the player instructions to stay back while attacking, for example, sometimes you might still find them bombing up the pitch because of that high attacking work rate. So as a result, we're only exclusively looking for players who have a medium and lower attacking work rate and also a high defensive work rate. Finally, we're looking for ball control as well, naturally, as they're going to always be looking to not only receive the ball, and we want to know how effectively they can do that, but also because we are looking for them to obviously bring the ball out from the back often and maybe carry the ball over a certain distance as well. Right then, let's get into the fun part. The players, starting with the 60 to 74 range. First off, we have probably the best one in this section here. We have Noah Masengo, Bristol City, currently a defensive midfielder, age 20 years old, 69 overall and 81 potential. I personally see him in real life as more of that out-and-out defensive midfielder. He is good on the ball, but on FIFA, his traits definitely lend himself to that out-and-out deep-line playmaker role. So I think this is a really good one. Also, he's fairly cheap as well, being at 69 rated. So you're going to be able to pick him up for a really reasonable price. We've got Lionel Miranda going over to Argentina now. We've got the next two for Argentina, actually. He's at Racing Club, 74 overall and 74 potential. He's obviously someone who you want to come in now and have that instant impact. Definitely good for those championship or second division sides overall, Serie B, Bundesliga 2, etc. Well, there's no Serie B on the game, of course. And if you're looking to push for promotion, he's someone who can come in and fill that void at age 27, now hitting his peak years. This is pretty much the same with our next one, Franco Cristaldo, also in Argentina as well at Club Huracán, 25 years old, although he has a little bit more room for growth because he can now grow to a 76. Again, obviously dynamic potential is filtered in there as well, so do bear that in mind, but again, that can fluctuate depending on the system. Finally, we have Florentino Luis. Really like this one. 74 overall and 83 potential. You know, he was touted to be the next big thing many years ago, and it feels like he just fell off the face of the earth a little bit. He's currently at AS Monaco, but he's out on loan at Getafe. I'm really hoping to see him reignite his career in real life at Monaco because I thought that was a fantastic signing. Still only 22, can grow from 74 overall to 83 potential. I think this is a really good buy. He's on a slightly lower end of agility, literally the lowest. He's the lowest bar that we'll go to. I think his agility was something like 72. You know, anything below that, no. But at 22 years of age, you can obviously develop that. You can train that and improve that agility as well. So he's one I think is a really good buy. Next up then, with the 75 to 82 range, what do we have? Well, we have Matteo Guendouzi first off at 80 overall and 86 potential, 22 years of age, currently playing for Marseille as well. Not a biggest fan of him in real life, I'll admit, but certainly in FIFA he's a really good pickup, as is this next man, Sandro Tonali as well. Often mistaken to be the next Pirlo. You know, he doesn't play like Pirlo, but certainly in FIFA he has got the traits to develop into that role at the very least. 81 overall and 84 potential. He's extremely all-rounded, really good option as that lone defensive midfielder. I don't think you'd need a second pivot, a secondary defensive midfielder with him. You know, because he's got the physical traits, he's got the defensive and the technical ability as well. So he's a really good pickup. We've got Charles Aranguiz, currently at Leverkusen, obviously 32 years old. So naturally, you're not looking for him to grow. You're looking for him to come in and make that instant impact. He's 80 overall and 80 potential naturally. So again, he's someone who can come in. He's going to be really cheap as well at 32 years old. So I think this is one that's really good if you're trying to make that step, particularly as someone, if you're a team looking to maybe make a push into European qualification competitions and you just need a bit extra, I think this is a really good pickup. Finally, we have Aurelien Tchouameni. Love this guy, and a shameless plug here, I've actually got a full detailed scout report of him on my Patreon scouting package. So do go and check that out as well, because that was really fun, sort of analysing him and watching him play. 81 overall and 88 potential. Sky's the limit for him in real life and in FIFA as well. Only 21 years of age. Still got a lot of room to grow though. Again, he's another one who's currently at AS Monaco. Just think, at Monaco, you've got an embarrassment of riches there. You've got Luis out on loan who could play that role, and you've also got Tchouameni as well. So there are options there, and he's a really good one for sure. So finally then, what do we have in the 83 to 89 column? Well, actually, I've got to admit that this one I struggled a bit more, and this seems to be a common theme amongst the 83 to 89 ratings. There's just not enough players in that bracket for me to really fill it out. So as a result, with Brozovic and Modric, who we'll come on to shortly, we actually had to have medium defensive work rate because there was just no one else who fit the stats and the required traits with a high defensive work rate. So we'll come on to that very shortly. First things first, Marco Verratti, definitely the open goal from 1 yard out pick, as I like to say. 87 overall and 87 potential, really well suited. He's, like I say, the pick of the bunch in this list. Then we've got Marcelo Brozovic, medium work rate unfortunately, but a very good player. He plays that deep line playmaker role for Inter Milan and really helps them, I think, when he sort of dropped out of the team this season with an injury, that's when their form started to regress. And since he's returned, you know, they've started to pick it up again. He's 84 overall as well, currently 28, you know, as is 3 of the 4 players on this list as well. So they're all in their peak, ready to make that step up now. Then we have Luka Modric, a very interesting one. Some of you may have looked at this and thought, well, why? He's a cam, you know, he's an attacking midfielder. Why are we looking at him for defensive midfielder as well? This is actually something I thought about, and I thought, well, one, he's got the traits to actually play defensive midfield anyway, and that's why he's on this list. But also, it's a really cool narrative that you could weave into the storyline of your career mode if you were looking to, because how many times do we see players, wingers, attacking midfielders who are getting older, such as Luka Modric is, who's 35 in this now, when they start to physically regress, then they'll drop back a position. So wingers might become cams, and then attacking midfielders might become defensive midfielders because, you know, they have to run less. And this is something you could do with Luka Modric as well, because like I say, he has got the traits. Obviously still really good at cam, and there's no problem with you playing him there. But if you were looking for someone in that defensive midfield role and you wanted, you know, sort of elite of elite, he'll be a little bit cheaper than the likes of Verratti as well because he's 35 years old. I think that's a really cool storyline to have. And finally, we have Thomas Partey, 84 overall and 84 potential. Again, 28 years old, in his peak right now. Really, really good. Surprising how good his passing stats are in FIFA, because I wasn't expecting him to be on this list. Obviously, defensively, he's very good. But yeah, he can really dictate the play. He's got some really good technical stats. So overall, I think he's another option that I think fills the void really, really nicely. So that just about rounds it off for this video then, guys. If you've got any suggestions for players who you think would fit the bill, who I may have left out, please do get at me in the comments section. I'd love to hear all the suggestions. Had a couple so far that have been really, really good. So, you know, keep them coming. Keep them coming. If you haven't done so already, as I mentioned earlier, subscribe to the channel and ring the bell so you get notifications every time I upload. Check out the playlist to this series as well, where you can see all the videos, strikers for possession tactics, wingers, all that good stuff as well. A whole lot more coming on top of that. And also check out my Patreon. The link to that is also down below, as is the link to my Twitter. Give me a follow on there. On that note, we're going to round the video off there. So until next time, I've been Brom18, and I will see you soon.